Welcome into the WIU Football Coaches Show alongside the head coach of the Western Illinois football team, Bob Nielsen. I'm Danny Fry. After a convincing Week 1 win over Eastern Illinois, the Leathernecks stayed in-state to take on the Illinois Fighting Illini on Saturday, losing by a score of 44-0. Coach, not the result obviously the team was looking for, but are there things that can be learned from a game like that?
Yeah, a lot that can be learned. We obviously hope to play a lot more competitively than what we did. There were some good things that came out of the game, even though the score may not look like it. But obviously some glaring weaknesses that are things that we've got to shore up and improve upon.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at the first half highlights from Memorial Stadium in Champaign. So, Coach, how excited was the team to play in this type of Big Ten platform?
Well, guys have been in those environments. They understand that it's a opportunity to play in front of a national stage, and our guys, I felt, were ready to go. I felt you know, the first couple series showed a great deal of enthusiasm and some really good defensive play, making it difficult for Illinois to move the football with consistency in the first quarter.
Yeah, some really good pursuit by the linebackers, and we saw the first play, Timothy Smith with a nice tackle too.
Yeah, I thought our defense played well all day until maybe the fourth quarter when we got a little bit worn down and had to play too much defense. That was the big problem on the course of the day.
What like to have this pass, Geronimo Allison down the sideline, really a tough play to defend. They go back to the run. It's Chris Harley being as athletic as ever this year.
Yeah, he's a really good football player, difficult for teams to contend with inside, and we need him to be disruptive for our defense to be good.
WIU defense held the Illini to a Zalewski 31-yard field goal with 10:05 left in the first quarter, which with the way that drive was going, had to be a win at the time, Coach, a home to a field goal.
It was a good stop. You know, they had converted a couple of third downs, one which you know, I felt could have gone either way on a call made by the official with the receiver running out of bounds. And what that did is gave us a little momentum that we could stop them.
WIU went 3-and-out, and then U of I on the move again, but David Griffith flying out of nowhere. What an athletic play for the interception for the sophomore.
Yeah, David had a great game. Interception, forced a fumble, played very well in the secondary as well as run fits. And unfortunately, we couldn't do anything with the turnovers that we generated, and that ended up costing us on the course of the afternoon.
The Illini go the sideline pass to Marchie Murdoch. And why was that pass over to the far sideline so effective on Saturday?
Well, you know, we were having to put an extra guy in the box to contend with the run game, and you know, they did a good job of distributing the football. They hit us on the perimeter a couple of times, you know, off play action, caught us a couple of times. But again, experienced teams are able to do that, and experienced teams with good personnel like Illinois are going to be difficult teams to defend.
Yeah, Josh Ferguson you saw there with a jumping over the pile for the touchdown, put Illinois up 10-0. They're looking to add to it here, and again, they go to a sideline pass. They hook up with Allison again, and then puts them in a great field position right there at the goal line. Well, it's your play action. How hard is it to do a play action pass like that to Tyler Wright for the touchdown?
Well, you get him in a real short yardage situation. I think that was a third down and half a yard situation. We got a younger guy in the game that gets his eyes locked in on the wrong thing. He's got the tight end in man-to-man coverage, gets fooled on the run fake, and as a result, give up a touchdown.
And then on the ensuing possession, Taylor Barden there for Trenton Norvell's first interception of the day. That was about halfway through the second quarter, and the Fighting Illini leading 17-0, and Zalewski with a 21-yard chipper there to make it 20-0 with 4:01 remaining in the half. And then special teams has been something you've really made a point of emphasis this year, and Nathan Knuffman will get a punt blocked on fourth down. It's returned for a touchdown by Marchie Murdoch. Final 3 minutes of the half. Kind of how that play developed.
Yeah, unfortunately we had an injury and had to make a substitution on this unit, a guy that hadn't had a lot of practice repetitions. He made a mistake in his protection count, and you know, disappointing that happened. You know, it added a score that created even more separation at halftime than probably should have been based on the way that we had played.
Steve McShane right there reminds you a little bit of J.C. Baker at all?
Yeah, he does. You know, a young J.C. Baker. I think Steve is going to be an outstanding player in our program and getting a chance to play a fair amount as a true freshman.
U of I running it to get into field position for the field goal. The 39-yarder is good. Illinois up 30-0 at half as time expires. And Coach, to go back to the first quarter, close game there, down 10. Do you feel that your team still kind of felt that momentum kind of at that point? How they feel at that point in the game?
Well, it's a situation where we needed to do something with the football. We had opportunities to put some points on the board there, and if we could have done that in the first quarter and made it a 10-3, 10-7 game, I think the second quarter would have been a lot different. And you know, the short field turnover that we gave Illinois, the special teams touchdown that we gave up, separated the game to a point where at halftime, obviously, we're well behind and in a position where now, you know, that we didn't want to be in, which is playing catch-up football.
The offense was in a rut, going a 3 and out. How was the Illini defense? We talked about that very physical Illinois defense. How they wear you guys down?
Well, they're a very experienced crew. They're always in the right spots. You actually have to execute, you know, really, really well to move the football. They showed that last week against Kent State, where they didn't allow a touchdown as well, and we didn't do that. You know, we didn't put the ball where we needed to from a quarterback standpoint. We didn't break tackles running the football, and things that we felt we could do going into the season, and we've still got some work to do in those areas.
All right, stay tuned for the second half highlights. On the back end of this commercial break, you're watching the WIU Football Coaches Show, your home for Fighting Leatherneck football.
Western Illinois University allows you to think for yourself and to discover the freedom to become your own.
Own it at Western. Build your own expectations and fill your own shoes.
Explore an academic culture that adapts to you.
Create yourself and inspire originality in an open and safe environment.
Western Illinois University lets you make your own success story.
Think purple.
Think success.
Think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to the WIU Football Coaches Show. Down 30-0 at half. Coach, what was the mentality of the team to try and chip away at this Illini lead?
Team was down. We certainly in a position we didn't want to be at halftime. At the same time, we talked about playing the second half and doing things that we needed to do better, and also to play hard throughout the end of the game.
Now let's go ahead and take a look at the second half highlight, as Western trying to, like Coach said, try and come back in this game as much as possible. And strategy knowing you get the ball at the half, what was that?
Well, we had deferred to the coin toss. Thought, you know, possession-wise, we had a chance to maybe get going, moving the football, and we forced them. You know, even though we were forced to punt, we were able to generate a turnover here, and you know, had great field position and a chance to get moving forward. And unfortunately, we were unable to capitalize on that field position.
Yeah, David Griffith forced it. Brett Taylor picked it up, and then here's a cross route. Some cross route over the middle to tight end Tyler White, but puts the football on the ground. And then Brett Taylor swoops in again, and again, Coach, at the right place at the right time.
Yeah, defense did a great job. Generated turnovers to stop drives. You know, Aaron Diggs does a nice job there of stripping the football, something we've been working on, and again, giving our offense a chance to get into a position where we could move the football into scoring position. Actually moved the football a little bit here, but couldn't convert on third downs, which was a part of our issue all game.
Other guys starting to get touches now at this point of the game, and then Norvell trying to make something happen, but airs out a little too much. Taylor Barden picks him up again, and Barden seemed to have Trenton's number. He was right over.
Yeah, you know, a poor, you know, and Trent will be the first to admit, not a great read, a route that we wouldn't throw against that coverage. He needs to go the other direction. But again, you're trying to force things at this point, and I felt to a certain extent that was part of our issue offensively. Instead of letting the game come to us, we really forced things, so we've got to do a better job as coaches, as well as do a better job of executing on the field.
It's kind of hot potato in the second half. Two teams exchanging turnovers, and another Illini fumble will be jumped on by Aaron Diggs, and he kind of just swooped in for that diving play at the last moment to give you guys another possession.
Yeah, again, Illinois was moving the football. Defensively, we stood up and stopped them, forcing the fourth turnover of the day, if we can continue to do that defensively, eventually, or offensively, we're going to get going, and those are the kinds of things that are going to help us win football games down the road.
Talked about it a little bit before, but Steve McShane, he kind of jumped out to be one of those primary backs. He does lead the team in net yards so far.
Yeah, he's going to continue to get more playing time. I've liked what he's brought to us. He's young, going to continue to get better as the year goes on.
The Illini like to go over the top there, and that will make it 37-0 at that point. And they really kept up that energy. Wes Lunt was in it the whole way when he was in, and now backup quarterback Chase Crouch, the freshman, in, and on a slant touchdown pass to Marchie Murdoch. And U of I very effective from the goal line all day.
Yeah, they did a good job of executing, and you expect senior-dominated teams to do that. Defensively, again, I felt our effort was there, that we did things that could have helped us put in a position to make that game competitive. We just got to match that with our offensive effort this week.
Wes Lunt, the Central Illinois native, 33 of 46, 316 passing yards, a touchdown, and the interception he threw to David Griffith. Geronimo Allison had Lance Lenore-type numbers that Lance had in Week 1, 8 receptions, 124 yards. And as on WIU's side, Trenton Norvell only 22 passing yards, 2 interceptions, but only 18 attempts. And we talked about Steve McShane, 9 carries for 41 yards, and Brett Taylor, really the horse on defense, 16 tackles and 1 forced fumble for the Fighting Leathernecks. So, Coach, after this, you see, well, what's something that really stood out after this game that you say, okay, we'll definitely got to work on that?
Well, offensive consistency and execution. We're a better offensive team than we've showed the first 2 weeks, and we've got to get to the level of execution that we're capable of. So we've got a great test this week, a chance to play another highly regarded team, very talented team, and so from a standpoint of improvement, it's time for our offensive group to step forward. Again, pleased with their defensive effort. We're doing some good things on defense right now, and that young group's going to continue to get better every week.
Last week you talked about the offense capitalizing on turnovers, and again it was a problem on Saturday. What was the main reason for that outcome?
It's a combination of things right now. We're making mistakes in the offensive line. We're making mistakes at the quarterback position. We've had opportunities to make plays and just have not made the plays that we need to make against good defensive football teams. So from a coaching standpoint, we're kind of taking a step back. We're making sure that not only are we sound in what we're doing, but also that the pictures that we're putting on, or the pictures that we're practicing during the week, match up so that our guys have more confidence in execution on Saturday.
It was known that the Illini would cover Lenore, but they seem to have a blanket around almost every target. Do you expect a similar matchup coming on, that teams see that you have all those special weapons, so they definitely game plan for it?
Well, against Illinois, we're playing against 2 outstanding corners that really were able to take away our 2 outside receivers in man-to-man situations. And when you can do that, you can do a lot of things, in the box to control the running game, and also with your safeties as far as coverage on the slot receivers. And we're going to face a lot of good football teams. I don't know if we're going to see corners as talented as those that we saw at Illinois. So I think it's a combination of things, and we're working hard this week to certainly be a better team.
And now this week you also get Nico Watson back, and you talk about having a balance between the pass and the run. How will his return affect that?
Well, it gives us some experience at that position. A guy that's played a fair amount of football and also a little bigger back that's capable of breaking some tackles. So we think that combination, along with the other guys that have been playing there, will make our running game better. And if we can make our running game better, it's going to help us be able to be more effective in the passing game.
More on the way next. You're locked into the WIU Football Coaches Show.
Founded in 1985, the Missouri Valley Football Conference has established a tradition of FCS football excellence. Competing at the highest level at NCAA Division I, student athletes at its 10 institutions demonstrate character, passion, and integrity as they grow as a student, an athlete, and a citizen. The Missouri Valley Football Conference, where leaders are shaped and champions are forged.
I always knew I would be a leatherneck. Western was the only university I applied to. The educational opportunities at Western provided me experiences and lessons in leadership and service. The faculty and staff at Western genuinely care about the students, and I know that choosing WIU is key to the beginning of my success story. Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to the WIU Football Coaches Show. I'm your host, Danny Fry. When people think Leatherneck football today, one of the first names that pops in their head is preseason All-American Lance Lenore. Shining as a route runner, Lenore is coming off a Missouri Valley Football Conference first-team selection as a receiver. The junior's skills and speed also translate in the return game, giving the Leathernecks an X factor when it comes to field position.
I want to thank my teammates because without them, I wouldn't be able to be honored for that. So it's truly a blessing, but I'm just focused on, week on and week next as we face these other teams.
You saw Lance, as you mentioned, have a couple big returns, but that was set up by some unbelievable blocks and really nice job of execution on both the punt return and kick return units.
It's just the way how it happens. My coaches put the team in the best situation possible. So, I mean, some games you may see me have good amount of catches, but also you may see Joey or Javon or Zeke have big amount of catches. So it's whoever. It's just that week was just my week, and it's just how it happened.
Special teams has been an added emphasis during the Coach Nielsen era at WIU.
That's very important. Coach Nielsen really plays a big part of that. He says it's really important, just like offense and defense. So we try to do our job on that, just like we do on offense and defense. So it's really a huge role.
Not a lot of special teams get the time, practice time that we're allotted. So we hope to have good results there, and we have a ton of support from the staff. That's the roles are divided up pretty evenly, so a lot of guys have hands in making things move forward.
Lenore knows what kind of player he needs to be, while Coach Yonk realizes how to utilize him in the return game.
Just trust and having confidence, and also being that guy that your teammates and coaches trust. Just going out here and working hard every day and working hard with my teammates, and it's been a fun ride.
He's an explosive, dynamic player, but one of the big things is that we've now gotten him the seams, and some of those blocks have been able to spring him onto the second level, and we just hope that he doesn't get tackled by the kicker.
A lot of things need to go right for an exciting special teams play to happen.
There's a lot of different fundamentals that go into it. The best way to describe it, it's a thing of beauty when it happens. A lot of people don't understand with those units. I mean, there's a lot of space on a lot of those units. So you need guys that have the ability to throw blocks and are athletic enough to move and operate in some tough circumstances.
Coach Yonk was a special teamer back in his playing days at Minnesota Duluth, making him a natural fit to coach special teams now.
Always been involved in it. Enjoy those units again, because it's a time where you can be aggressive, and a lot of those units are made up of a lot of defensive personnel. We're fortunate to have a lot of offensive guys that have the ability to perform well on those units. But yeah, it's something that I've always enjoyed and continue to always be a part of.
When it comes to facing Coastal Carolina on Saturday, their #1 ranking doesn't faze them.
Excitement. We're ready to go out there and knock them off. They're #1 in the FCS in the poll, so it's going to be a good competition, good game.
Coach, talk about Lance, really one of the stars on the team. How's he embraced that role?
He's a leader. He's a guy that works hard in practice. When you always want your best players to be your hardest workers, and he's that kind of guy. You see that on the field in the way he blocks on running plays, as well as the way that he executes as a receiver when he's getting the ball in passing plays.
And now it's time for the last break of the show, but stay tuned, as up next, Coach and I will preview the clash with top-ranked Coastal Carolina.
I chose Western because it reminded me of home and for its outstanding forensic chemistry program. My classes and academic experiences give me the knowledge I'll need for my career. The programs at Western teach me to lead and contribute to my community. I know my choice is the beginning of my success story. Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
Music has always been my thing. I not only get to play it, but I also have opportunities to learn from award-winning guest musicians. My professors offered me the personal attention I was looking for in a music program and challenged me to reach my fullest potential. I know my experience at Western is just the beginning of my success story. Think purple, think success, think Western Illinois University.
Welcome back to the WIU Football Coaches Show. It's time to check in on how the Missouri Valley teams performed last weekend. Western Illinois, obviously, their result to Illinois. Indiana State falls to Purdue, another Big Ten foe, 38-14. Kind of the game of the week in FCS. Northern Iowa squeaks by Eastern Washington, and Eastern Washington is now 0-2 after the Panthers won 38-35. A little bit of a surprise, SEMO on the rise. Southeast Missouri State edging Southern 27-24, and South Dakota State continuing to roll 55-10 all over Southern Utah. And now the games on tap in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. Drake out of the Pioneer League will visit South Dakota. Southeast Missouri State taking on another Valley team in Indiana State. Got the big rivalry in the Dakotas, North Dakota and North Dakota State, among others scattered about in the Missouri Valley Football Conference. This Saturday, the Leathernecks travel to Myrtle Beach in South Carolina to battle the #1 team in the FCS, Coastal Carolina, and the Chanticleer football program is really young. They've only been around since 2003, but they've been very competitive in that time. Coach, what do you think is attributed to Coastal Carolina's success as of late?
Well, number one, they've invested very heavily into FCS Division I football, built outstanding facilities there, done a great job in building a strong coaching staff, and now have made the decision to move up to FBS football. So it gives you some idea of the commitment institutionally that they've made to their program over the last little more than a decade.
This will be the home opener for Coastal, and they've jumped out of that 2-0 start. What kind of atmosphere are you expecting? You already said pretty much everyone in the community is buying into that football team.
I think they'll have a good crowd. They've drawn well. You know, Myrtle Beach is a thriving tourist community, and they've got a lot of things going there in promotion. So for the game, it'll be the first game. It'll be that they've played on new turf. They put in teal turf, one of those schools that has opted to look at the different color rather than the traditional green artificial surface. And I'm sure they'll be very excited to play that home opener, particularly with the decision that they made 2 weeks ago to be moving up to FBS next season.
Thought about a purple turf, Coach Paz for Hanson Field?
Yeah, I think I stay with green.
That's fine. That's classic. Obviously, you got to watch out for them as the Big South Offensive Player of the Year last year, Walter Payton Award finalist Alex Ross. So what does he bring to the table?
A really experienced player. You can just see the way that he manages and runs that offense. He's is a very gifted passer, at the same time athletic enough that he can make and extend plays with his feet. And So from a quarterback standpoint, he'll be a little bit of a combination of the two guys that we've seen over the last 2 weeks, where he throws the ball like Wes Lunt and runs the ball effectively like we saw in the first week against Eastern Illinois.
On the defensive side of the ball for the Chanticleers, it's all about an experienced linebacking core there, and it's toughing out those guys in the middle, especially how you guys line up the football offensively.
Yeah, another team that's playing a lot of juniors and seniors, you know, I think the thing that impresses me as I watch them defensively is they're not the biggest football team, but they're extremely athletic and they run to the football really well. So, you know, a great challenge for us again in all three aspects of the game.
Thanks, Coach. As always, the kickoff between the Leathernecks and Coastal Carolina is set for 6 o'clock Eastern Time, 5 o'clock Central Time on that teal turf of Brooks Stadium in Conway, South Carolina. That's all the time we have for you on this edition of the WIU Football Coaches Show. For Coach Nielsen, I'm Danny Fry. Thanks again for watching.